Hey folks, AJ here. I know I don't normally give much of an intro to these bonus episodes, but I did just want to drop a quick warning up top here for reasons that will very quickly become apparent. We did run into some unforeseen audio issues while recording this episode. We didn't pick them up at the time, and there's some kind of annoying fuzz throughout a lot of the episode. I've done my best to tidy it up after the fact. And I think it's still listenable, but for those that are, not in the mood for listening to nearly an hour of some slightly subpar audio from us, just consider yourselves warned. The episode's still great. It's a fun little session zero for our upcoming D&D new D&D group. So I hope you'll stick around and listen to it. But yeah, just consider this the warning. The first bit of fuzz does get better after the first 5 minutes or so. So if you feel like you can power through, that is the worst of it. It does come back a little bit later, but yeah. Anyway, I will see you at the end for some fuzz-free links and things to our social medias and stuff. But if not, I will see you back next week for a regular quality episode of Things from the Flood. So yeah, cheers. Enjoy. Hey everybody, welcome back. Bit of a sort of slightly different bonus episode for you all today. Coming up soon, after we finish our Things from the Flood story, we are going to be doing a brand new D&D storyline. And so for that, today I have all three of the new cast members with me. We're going to be doing a little bit of a sort of informal sort of introduction, session zero type thing. I don't know what it's going to be. As is usual for our bonus episode things, this is going to be full of me umming and ahhing and no editing because I can't be asked. So it's a lot of work. Why don't we go along and each of you introduce yourselves, and we'll come to like the characters later on, I think, and we'll see how it goes. Starting with go left to right. Let's start with Liam.
Oh, hi. I'm Liam. Strangely enough. Hi.
A little bit strangely enough, actually, you're the second Liam we've had on the podcast.
Wow, see, we travel in herds.
It's true, yeah. They are travelling in herds.
We stride.
Yeah. No, other Liam is my friend Liam Dempsey, who runs the Spotlight podcast. So, yeah.
I do not run a podcast.
You do not run a podcast.
We don't travel in those sort of herds.
You should run a podcast.
No, we can't have competing ones.
Yeah, this could be your taster. See how you get on here, and you never know. Yeah. We've also got Shams.
Hi. I'm Shams. Shamsia. I don't run in herds. I'm too tiny for that. Probably live under a bridge in future life, but
Look, don't not living under bridges. I used to live in a shed and it was fine.
Become the troll.
Become the troll, you could be.
A bridge is an upgrade.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
provided there's no like active trains going over it. But
maybe there will be, because then that's gonna like mask it.
I was going to say it could be a very sound setup, really. I could build my own Hobbiton. It's fine.
That does sound pretty good.
Bridgerton.
So sound good. I'm good.
Bridgerton.
Bridgerton.
I feel like that's already. There's no place called.
Probably.
Have they trademarked it though?
Yeah.
That's the question.
I might be getting confused
Office is
with.
trademarked? Is that a thing?
I'm sure it would be a thing.
It's got to be right. Have you got to like register your town name
Maybe.
somewhere?
Yeah, but then anyway, you could just make a town become a mayor,
Make a tiny
It's true.
town. Build a bridge out of plant pots, live underneath them. It's
Yep.
fine. It's fine. Dwarf dream.
This is how you start a podcast.
Yeah. No. And finally, we have Katie.
Hello, I'm Katie. Introducing, so that's fun.
Fun times.
I don't know what else to say.
That's it.
I'm not
Yeah.
a very interesting person, apart from I go off on tangents a lot. So
Look, tangents are fine. Yeah,
We're good with tangents.
tangents are all good.
Tangents for life.
yeah,
Yeah.
there we go.
Tangent crew. Is that what
Bridge.
we could call the D&D5e, the tangent crew?
Yeah, that's
Maybe.
what I thought.
I'm not
Tangent
I'm
tales.
not
It could be a whole
locking
thing.
you into
Every
that,
side quest is a tangent. Let's be
Feel free
real.
to-
Like,
Yeah.
Yeah. So basically, what we're going to be doing is, as I said, after Things from the Flood, we're going to be starting our brand new D&D thing. Long-time listeners will know we try and sort of keep a bit of a rotating cast on here. So in terms of starting a whole new thing, we thought let's have a whole new group for everybody. We're going to be returning to our homebrew D&D setting of Valana for this. I've got the map open on my screen, which nobody can see because this is an audio medium. But you can join our Discord and find the map. There we go. A little bit of synergy. Yeah, subtle. I've been super unsubtle with the plugs for the Discord recently, so I'm going to keep going with that, really. But yeah, I should probably tweet the map out again. But yeah, you can also find it on our World Anvil page, which I'll tweet the link to that. It's easier than uploading a 15 megabyte JPEG to Twitter.
I've seen it. It's very sexy.
It's right there.
It's so
everybody
beautiful.
needs to get on this map. Everybody
So beautiful.
needs to see it.
It's big, and I made it out of photo. But yeah, so it's been a little while since we played in that setting. We did our 3-part pirate adventure back in the end of the summer last year. So I'm looking forward to sort of coming back to it. But yeah, I think you guys are going to be playing sort of slightly different crew of characters than we did last
Different
time.
kind of crew.
Yeah, well, exactly. Last time was a legitimate pirate crew, whereas this time
We're more eclectic.
yeah.
We're ragtag. It's cute. It's charming.
I think it's probably safe to say we've got like a completely different mix of character classes as well this time around. Last time it was a barbarian, a wizard, and a bard. Just they were fun characters.
Yeah.
But we've gone a little bit sideways. Yeah, so why don't we talk about some character ideas and stuff that you guys are going to play, and it was sort of like a bit of an introduction for the listeners to get hyped about our new the new crew before we go. What are each of you going to be playing, and what's their deal? Yeah. if you've got it figured out, it's up to it,
I have had this character figured out for months.
It has been a while since we've been talking about playing, hasn't it?
Yeah. I guess I'll start.
Yeah,
I'm on this side.
Yeah,
cool.
Yeah. Keeping it informal. It's fine. Yeah.
I am playing a race that I've only played once before and a character I've played once before, but I'm changing around a little bit because he seems to be a bit more interesting at this point. Shall I go name-wise and everything? How much detail?
However you want to do it. No, if you want to hold on to... I'm not saying, like, what's your character and give us their full backstory and all their secrets or anything. Get whatever you're comfortable telling us, that's fine.
Basically, we're doing teasers. We're like,
Zach,
listen to us.
Okay, I'll do a bit of it.
Yeah, feel free. Yeah. Give us...
his name is Fane. He is a Shadalkai Grave Domain cleric, so I will be keeping these guys from dying, essentially, or dealing with stuff after they die. Like that's how it works with the Grave Domain. Essentially.
You got your own personal grave digger.
Exactly. Yeah.
In case the worst goes, at least you're going to be the full 6 feet under.
Yeah. Precisely.
Yeah.
I won't go too much into his backstory in detail, just because I want everyone to.
That's fine. Yeah, no. If you wanted to come out in the game, then that's perfectly fine by me.
I'd spit like he's a bit of an interesting kind of character there. He's one of my favorite races to play, and just in general in like D&D lore, just the Shadalkai, just.
I don't think I really know. I mean, obviously we've talked about it a little bit, but I don't think we definitely haven't on the podcast.
Maybe
go into a bit of depth about that for the listeners. Yeah, they're not sure, 'cause I know it's not one of the it's not one of the basic player's handbook races.
No, it's not. This is not vanilla D&D. It's a bit chocolate swirl. Rocky Road. I knew a little bit about them a while ago when Wizards of the Coast, if I can speak, brought out an Unearthed Arcana, their sub races, and I was like for elves, and I was like, oh okay, these look cool. There's one with wings. I'm like, that's very overpowered.
I think you probably would have had to run that one by me a little bit.
Yeah. And they had a couple more, but the one that really stuck out to me was the Shadalkai, because this was when I was really, really getting into Critical Role, and as I got to the later part of the stream, spoiler wise, one of the characters goes and becomes sort of in a bit of a sort of semi-pact with the Raven Queen, who, after reading a little bit more about her, because I'm a goth kid, not as powerful as Katie though, but I to some level,
strong goth energy on the podcast.
Yeah. We won't get.
I should have guessed that with the grave cleric thing as well. Really.
Yeah. But yeah, just reading a bit more about her as a deity in the realm of sort of Critical Role.
Yeah.
Particularly after the Tal'Dorei campaign setting kind of came out, which I bought almost immediately. I'm not ashamed to say.
That's just they've taken a lot of my money too.
Yeah, it's just I've already pre-ordered the new one. Like it's getting there. Just this kind of weird mythos of a goddess who, despite being part of like a death sort of domain, was not just straight up evil or being like straight up just like no, misunderstood, she's all good. Like it's a very like fine grey line, the grey area of being like, yeah, she deals with death, but she's also more a lot about like fate as well, and just this idea that you will reach a certain point, you might die on the way there, but that could be what you're meant to do. Like you're meant to do something. But I wanted to play him as being a bit of a different kind of cleric, rather than being a bit more like, oh, my god is so great, ooh, you should follow my god. A bit being more like, particularly as the Shabalkai, which I'll go into a little bit more about them in a sec, but I wanted him to be a bit more like almost a reluctant cleric, but still not a like forced upon him, if that makes sense. That probably doesn't make sense. I'll go into
he's
it
having
more.
a bit of a crisis of faith or that, maybe.
Almost, yeah.
Okay, I'm sure that we'll get to that in the game.
Yeah,
I find that Raven Queen stuff quite interesting as well. I've been recently rereading the Discworld books, and the whole concept of death in that, where it's kind of like a bit of a he's not good or evil, he just happens.
Yeah,
sort of thing.
That's what I quite like about her. I like that she the like even like seeing how like kind of how Matthew Mercer kind of RPs her in the stream, and just like the idea of her just being a bit more just like, you know, this is what happens, you have to like it, you can go with it or you cannot. Like it's just a really cool way of sort of thinking about it. But the kind of nature of the Shadokai is that she created them. This is kind of me reading Modern Kindness Tomb of Foes, where they go into it in a lot more detail of them being kind of like made by her after she sort of rises to godhood, to sort of go out into the material plane and kind of collect these sort of really macabre kind of like strong memory kind of items, like can be completely random, but they just kind of like bring them to her. And I kind of like the idea of this kind of almost being like part of like humanizing her almost. But their whole existence on the material plane is almost like kind of like Avatar, like the James Cameron kind of Avatar, where they sort of go into these sort of like meat sacks of just entity. That's the best way I can think of describing them.
So they're like spiritual entities that are inhabiting the bodies of the
I think that's such a better way to
and also Sigourney Weaver's.
That's a much better way to put it. That's why you're the DM.
Man, I haven't watched Avatar in a while. I wonder if it holds up.
They're bringing out a couple more soon.
I don't know how I feel about that.
Finally, though.
It's taken a very long time.
It has.
I stumbled across an article. This is totally off track. This is Avatar.
It's fine. We are the tangent crew.
Like literally the other day, I just stumbled across this link and it's saying like Avatar sequel set for release in 2014 and 15.
Oh boy.
So wait, wow. I feel like that's kind of come and gone at this point. But yeah, like, I'm to jump back off the tangent then. I'm
off
quite
the tangent train.
I'm trying to find a way to kind of integrate that whole thing into the setting that we've got going and that as well. I don't want to fully drop all that here, but
I'm quite interested to see how sort of how this kind of god gets integrated into a world. It's always so interesting. Like some people can be like, oh, they have giant cathedrals where they just have like big solemn ones, kind of like in Game of Thrones, the House of Black and White, where they've got all the faces on the wall. Like that's really cool, I think. But then there's also like some civilizations who are like, no, we don't go near that sort of thing. Just being very sort of like, this is a good god, this therefore has a big following and you should follow this god. Or whether it's just like, oh, this god kind of exists, but they just kind of keep it.
Well, the pressure's on me a little bit here to do something slightly original with
I have too many ideas, so I will I will help.
It's good because where you've sort of chosen like a sort of, I would say probably even for most like listeners who are kind of up on D&D, quite a sort of specialized, quite sort of rare, you're not going to see it in many games, kind of choice of like sub-race and you might see a lot of like not a lot, but you might see some Raven Queen people and stuff.
Yeah.
You've kind of gone like, I'm doing this, and I've had to go like, okay, I now need to come up with the stuff for that. Whereas like maybe I would have, you know, it would have been on the back burner and stuff. But now I'm sort of the pressure's on me to like flesh out the world a bit more, which I like, and that. So that's fine. But that's cool. Okay.
Yeah.
We'll I mean, backstory. What are you thinking? Are you feel free not to share.
I mean, I'll go basic, but
okay.
like
we'll just give it a taste then.
Background wise, I chose the urchin background, which particularly for like most like things that I've seen where a lot of people play very like heavily armored, like cannot be stealthy for the life of them clerics, like some certain dwarven clerics that we have in our home game.
Yeah.
-2 to stealth. Like he's very much like a slightly more Dexy based cleric. He tends to be a bit more stealthy because like kind of growing up on the street, like needing to kind of keep your head down a little bit more there.
Yeah.
Like I like to think of him as being like a stone's throw away from being rogue.
He's like a goth Aladdin.
Kind of, yeah. Goth Aladdin, that's how I like to think of. He doesn't have a monkey though. Unfortunately.
Not yet.
I know. Not yet, but
spoilers, you may find a monkey.
But any animal from any D&D group, they will adopt it. Or child in some cases.
Adopt. Just like really heavily.
It's not kidnapping if you go through the right paperwork.
Exactly. It's not kidnapping if you're all high enough.
Jeez.
Prepare for a lot of dark jokes when it's like I'm prepared to be a grave domain cleric IRL. Like it's reaching that stage. But yeah, he like I didn't want to be like following the route of Shadokai being like they are deliberately sent onto the world to find something specific and then they come back like they are her servants there. But the idea of just this like Shadokai like just abandoned on the street and just having to just grow up in that space and then again not going too deep into it, just kind of finding out this aspect of himself but being very much against it and just being as kind of like the part of the kind of development of him kind of reaching this stage where the adventure will begin, where he's still kind of learning who he is, but has gone through enough where he's kind of like, okay, I have this aspect of myself where he has this divine power, but like I'm not really okay with it.
You'll use it, but you're not.
Yeah,
but you got your reservations about it.
Yeah. Okay. Plus, I can do super goth stuff as a really gothy character, and then also not, which I love.
That's fine.
But yeah, just trying to do something a bit different with something that seems very like in your face.
Yeah, it's an interesting combo, and I'm interested. I found it quite interesting to sort of go in and come up with some ideas of like, how am I going to integrate this into the thing? So, yeah. Okay, well that's a very interesting.
This can potentially crash and burn, so just
this might
be ready.
this might go terribly. No, I'm sure it'll be fine.
That's the best part of it. But yes, yeah.
Okay, all right. Well, that's Fane.
Yes, Fane. Yes. I was like, it's spelled a certain way.
No, I am so impressed with myself. I'm terrible with character names.
Well, we should have like little name badges.
Yeah, I will. I mean, this is why I record everything, so I can at least go back and go, what on earth was that?
What did I say?
Yeah, I'm going to actually write that down now. So
Faen.
Faen. Okay.
Yes.
Particular spelling.
Yeah.
No love.
This is helpful for listeners as well if they want to start their fan art now of
please start the fan art. If he's wearing like a fez with like the MCR logo on it, I will appreciate that. We're thinking like like the scene where they're going down the streets of Agrabah, just being like, "Hey, clear the way in the old bazaar," but instead it's like MCR, just
but there's a little bit of an element of the Cure in there as well, and
it's just those three notes.
Do you think we could just get that song, but like make it in a minor key?
Yeah,
I'm expecting so much merch to come out.
Yeah. Okay, so Shams, tell us a little bit about your character.
Wow, I mean, that's really something to follow. Like,
I should have gone last, really. Like, I'm sorry.
Right. I'm going with an Aarakocra druid.
Interesting.
My character is called Erebus.
Erebus? As in the Mount Mount Erebus.
Yep.
Good. I just from a spelling perspective because I'm
Yeah,
writing.
no, you're completely fine.
Yeah.
You're not playing a mountain.
Maybe she is.
He is a majestic ass sea eagle, I mean.
Not a seagull, a sea eagle. I made this
Gotta
mistake.
define that.
I made this mistake and I apologise. On stream, I apologise.
I still don't take his apology sincerely. I mean, with my character, he's quite a noble character. He's got a very, very good sense of right and wrong.
We don't really do like full alignment chart or anything
Yeah.
in this, but would you say he's leaning more towards a kind of
He's
definitely on the good side, good
definitely
spectrum?
on the good side.
Yeah.
He's got a very good idea of everything. I mean, to go a bit into his backstory without doing too much, he basically was damaged in a typhoon,
Ooh.
ended up on the coast, ended up interacting a bit too much with people, and kind of got a little bit attached to them.
That's cool. I like it. Like the idea he was like, I'm alone on the. Oh no, and then like, hey, what are these people? hey, folks.
He's like friends.
What is this beer that you speak of?
Yeah.
Wait, you can catch things out of the sea without using your talons? How the hell do you do that?
I said sea eagle or seagull. But yeah, no, he kind of like lives over a fishing village and kind of ends up becoming their protector a little bit. Like when kind of anybody comes in to invade, he's there.
He's like their Batman, except he's a sea eagle.
Eagle. There you go. I'm gonna mess
Batman
with everybody
squawked
with
more. That's.
I mean, he's got his chirps. It's fine. It's fine. But yeah, I think it'll be fun.
Yeah, no, that sounds cool. I mean, we've only really run into in the setting before. We've run into one druid, and he was like a crazy dude who lived in the woods.
Crazy bird that lives in a cave.
No, he was kind of like a hermit, and like like it was basically the whole character was there as an excuse for me to do a stupid voice. But no, that was the only other druid we ran into, and so it's interesting to see like another facet of that kind of class coming out actually as a sort of hey, here's maybe what a competent one is like.
We'll see how we go.
Yeah.
Before properly.
As I've said before, intelligence is a dumb stat anyway.
I mean, he's -1. Let's see how badly it can go.
Yeah, you never know. It's
I've
fine.
got 2 -1s here. This.
Oh, yeah, we didn't really talk about your stats, but I suppose I mean that I feel like we don't really need to go into a numbers.
Unless it's really low, in which case we will focus.
Come out entirely.
Yeah.
It'll be very obvious, I feel.
Yeah.
My guy can't read very well.
I mean, I'm a bird man.
Quite literally a bird man.
Let's hope there's not much of a language barrier that.
I just completely cross out the part of my plans, which is that they visit a library.
Do you know what?
As long as there's pictures in the book, like Fane is okay.
Very hungry caterpillar.
Yeah.
It's fine.
What's a caterpillar? Just stares at the book in confusion.
Just eats the book. I don't know. This is how I absorb knowledge. It's fine.
Consume the knowledge.
See, solid plan. He's back.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Cool. I like it. Yeah. Not in a spoilery way, but I feel like we're maybe not going to start on the coast.
That's okay.
So
that's completely
we'll
fine.
maybe have we can.
I mean,
we'll just improv it on the day and be like, how did you get here?
in terms of how I was like kind of thinking for him, obviously change as you will. I am not too fussy with that. It was more like he got quite attached to like basically one of the villagers' children.
Yeah.
Shut up, both of you, before you start. Got attached to the villagers' children who kind of looked after him and helped him like come back into himself.
No, it's a heartwarming tale of
and they get.
Abducting a child again.
Yeah.
I was gonna go with the kid gets taken, and so he has to leave because he's like.
No one takes this kid but me. That's essentially what the. Sorry, spoilers.
There's only room in this town for one abductor. And I got the job.
I've seen Chitty Chitty Bang Bang. It's there's just one guy, has one theme.
He gets paid for it. He's employed by the council.
Just takes the children.
But yeah, so that's kind of how he ends up. I wasn't trying to make it follow me. You follow me.
Yeah.
We'll try and rein in the child snatching jokes when we start, but we're getting out of the way now.
He's a protective character.
Yeah, and it's a heartwarming tale of like it's the kind of thing that would be like a Ghibli movie, you know. It's like Yes, a child
not my
redeems
child.
the wounded bird man, and and then they form a lasting friendship bond.
Yeah, and the kid gets abducted, and he's like, no.
Yeah, it's like,
Yeah,
no, my
and that's
failure.
just like call to action. It's like I gotta go rescue that kid from an evil abductor,
Yeah. So
Yeah.
A good
So I'm
abductor.
as opposed to a good abductor. I feel like this has
crossed
gone off
over
the
to
rails a
strange
little bit.
I feel like
territory.
you need to make just like a little sound clip of someone saying tangent and just play it constantly.
I'll get
We
the
need to-
QI like horns sound
Yeah, right.
whenever they give a wrong answer.
We need, like, a
except it's
tangent
whenever
bell,
we start
just ding,
talking
ding.
about child abduction.
It's like, guys, you should probably monitor what we're saying here. Just as a disclaimer,
Please don't
we
put
don't
us on any
abduct
list.
children.
Yeah, no,
Well, we're not really
I will put a
child
disclaimer on
happy. It's
stuff.
fine.
we are not going to take your children.
Yeah, I can honestly say I would not abduct anybody's child. I don't like children enough.
No.
And now you're on the record
houses,
saying that, so it's
yeah, I
fine.
was
Yeah,
gonna
yeah.
say,
Don't worry, guys. We hate children too much to take them. To take
I
them.
feel like that very quickly went from like, no, you're fine, we're not going to take children, to like, I
them on a list.
wouldn't like, I wouldn't take them because I'm not invested, to straight away to, we hate children.
We only work in extremes here,
I was
okay?
going to say, do you expect anything else from us? Tangent.
Yeah, tangent party.
Buddy.
Yeah.
Tangents on a boat.
The
Anyway.
t-shirts are being made as we speak.
Well, they would be, but like the people in the factory are having talking about a tangent.
Yeah.
I thought I was going to become a coronavirus.
Yeah, so did I. As soon as I started, I was like, oh, this is not.
Prepare for a lot of political themed humour.
No.
We're D&D, half D&D, half hard-hitting political satire.
Yes.
That's the,
I think
that's
that
the
sums all
mixture.
of us up though.
Yeah.
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 You know,
It's well rounded.
clearly avoiding the child abduction there.
Yeah, we keep,
gets
it
really
keeps,
quite well.
it keeps coming back though, doesn't it?
It always does for
Like a
them, certain
boomerang.
people.
That said, our very first story arc on the podcast was about child abduction.
Of course it was.
We've gone
It's
full
not our
circle.
fault. The classic D&D trope is like a child gets
Yeah.
That's
kidnapped.
true.
Yeah.
It is. Yeah.
I'm pretty sure, like,
I'm just praying on.
I'm pretty sure if I remember correctly, like that was a side quest.
Yep.
Except it was like multiple children, and they were eating them. So
Okay.
Only a fun.
I mean, spoilers for listeners who haven't listened to our first story arc. That was children were being abducted and used by a dude in a magical ritual to try and bring back his kid who had died accidentally.
oh,
He was like draining their life force and stuff, but like he
was
wasn't.
justified
He wasn't
at
really a
least.
wizard, so he was like screwing it up and stuff.
I mean, big
That's
sad.
justified.
Yeah,
yeah.
it was all quite depressing. But we got some good jokes in at the time, so it's fine.
That's what counts.
Like,
Yeah, that's
it's
all
there
that
for the
counts.
content. It's
Yeah,
fine.
exactly. Yeah.
It's fine.
It's fine. So yeah, anything else to say about Erebus at the moment, or the rest can come out in game? Do you
I
think?
feel like the rest is going to come out in game.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like you're going to encounter him at a very confused time in his life. Sort of bird life. I say little, he's big, but still.
How big is it? Is he like? What is he?
Direct opposite
I mean,
to her.
yeah, your typical like Aarakocra, they say around like 5 feet.
Okay.
I'm thinking of him being like particularly big just because of my height complex.
12 feet
Um,
tall.
He's classed as a large
He's a
character.
rock.
He's a rock who thinks he's an Aarakocra.
Yeah, he's actually a boulder. He just
Cannot fit in most taverns.
hey, fear his wings. Yeah, I'm thinking of him
Click,
being like
motherfucker.
quite large, like unusually large, maybe.
So like what, like
Maybe that's why he
6'2"?
was
Maybe like-
outcasted.
Maybe
Yeah.
like 6'3", 6'4". No, he wasn't outcast. He could have been outcasted. He
Exactly.
could have a
He was
whole
outcast
amnesia
by
thing
the
going on
Tempest.
there.
He was outcast.
Yeah, he was bullied as a child for being so much bigger than all the other kids.
And for taking too much interest in the
That
human
hits too
children
close to
he flew
home.
by.
I think you might have to change that.
Yeah.
Make it too emotional.
Yeah.
That's the grave perk, but damage to the shins.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I got that's another thing to anybody who wants to be starting off on fan art. You got a 6'3" sea eagle Aarakocra. There you go. That's Erebus, and you got Goth Aladdin.
Oh god.
So rounding out our group, what are you playing, Katie?
I'm playing an Air Ganassi sorcerer
Okay.
called Celeste.
Nice.
To be honest, I haven't really sort of got a lot of backstory in
That's fine.
the
Yeah,
sense
no,
of these two.
Hey, I thought about child abduction.
That's
I mean,
true.
like, come on.
This is
How
backstory.
much worse
It's
can it get?
Yeah.
pull us out of the free fall of child abduction talk.
You say free fall, I say backstory. It's fine.
They're pretty much the same thing. It's cool.
But what I was thinking for her was she's going to be from like middle of nowhere.
Okay.
True conspiracy theorists.
Was it like a self-imposed middle of nowhere? Like she may be...
Maybe.
Okay.
Is there a
Like-
shack involved?
Possibly.
Good.
Or like some sort of, put together hut, like in the middle of a woods. I don't know.
She had a compound in the woods.
Yeah, like real fortress.
And for
but
some
it's
reason
not
she
really
just has a
fortress,
weapons
it's
locker.
just a couple of sharp sticks out
Yeah.
the ground.
She's a sorcerer.
She's wearing full camouflage. She has an
true.
AR-15. Like,
She's one step from forming a militia.
yeah.
You don't know what she's got hidden.
Yeah, it's fine.
But I kind of want to like really go hard on the whole conspiracy theory. Like even
I
if
like it.
she's wrong, she is that sort of stubborn and determined that she will make some way for it to be right.
Like she believes the king is a lizard person, and we're not.
The king is a lizard person.
We're not talking about Dragonborn. We're talking about
Lizard folk,
Lizard.
Yeah.
We suddenly find the lizard folk kingdom. It's just like, he's a human.
I mean, the next nation
He's a
over
scaly.
is a Dragonborn nation, so there quite literally is a lizard kingdom next door. I haven't written that anywhere. That just kind of, but
I am hoping.
I feel like now I have to make it that.
It's canon,
Yeah.
guys. You heard it here.
But I love that. Like
First.
she's questioning everything.
Yeah,
basically.
like one of my like personality traits is that I will quote any sort of text even if it's wrong.
Okay, I like it.
I can misquote it, but she's so sort of she's
Make
so
the folk
far
realms
gone.
great again. Essentially, like,
It sounds believable because it's that insane.
She read some weird pamphlets and it just sent her spiraling down like a
Basically,
weird.
yeah.
Okay, yeah, I like it.
you're only communicating
And also-
motivational posters. Like,
Just pure propaganda.
Sorcerer.
That's
yeah,
what I'm saying.
pure propaganda.
Basically, that's how she make it true that it was a lizard person. This
Yeah,
king.
yeah.
Tangent.
I dig this so
Tandems.
much. I'm down.
Also, I chose sorcerer because I get dragon wings, and who doesn't want dragon wings? Because I chose
yeah,
the draconic bloodline.
nice. Okay.
I think that's going to be.
So you are actually like a lizard person. Like,
Basically, yeah.
you are
Except
living the
I don't-
conspiracy.
It doesn't click. It never clicks.
Yeah. She doesn't think she's a sinister lizard person. The other people are the sinister lizard people.
Yeah.
Yeah,
She doesn't
okay.
seem.
It's like, how do I know that there are lizard people out there? I am one.
Yeah, exactly.
The perfect evidence. I like it. So let's see, gone with sorcerer. Okay, that actually gives me like quite a lot to work with in terms of.
So glad.
No, in terms of like now I have to. We can come up with like a fun place where she had her compound.
I can see it in the middle of a town or something where she's just like blocked herself off and thinks she's alone, but she's not.
That one neighbour who doesn't trim their hedges,
That's
and they're
you,
just
Yeah,
That's what's blocking off
She
the
lives in the
house.
park. No,
Binoculars.
no. I mean, we've got our map, so actually this might be quite a good. Now we've kind of heard a little bit about each of your characters. This would be a good time to point people towards our World Anvil page and our Discord page
Hell
yet
yeah.
again.
the very sexy map that we can all see.
Yeah, we can. So we'll start with Fane then. So being sort of elfy, because my brain was like attempt to say the subrace.
Shadal Kai.
yeah.
Like I think the Unearthed Arcana describe them as like shadow elves.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if actually
I
can
have-
check.
I haven't
Thanks to
reread.
D&D Beyond, an excellent app,
we're
which
not sponsored.
which we are definitely not sponsored by.
It would
Unfortunately,
be great if we were, but we're not sponsored by anything. I'm out of pocket on this podcast.
AKA, please sponsor us.
I can plug things.
Yeah.
I can sound desperate on cue.
I sponsored myself. I'm Mike Bloomberging it.
Self-sponsored.
There we go. Hard hitting.
You heard it here first, folks.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Okay. Well, as well, you are a type of elf.
Yes, I'm elf-like.
We have some elf cities Would you
Yes.
say you said you grew up on the street? So presumably that would be in an elf city. Then.
I definitely thought of him being from a very large city. Like I didn't want him to be like a outdoorsy person at all.
No.
Which is where I'm kind of enjoying the complete opposite. Like
Bird person and woods person.
yes, yeah. I did quite like the idea of him being from a definitely larger city.
Okay.
Definitely from one of the sort of like very much like the lower part, like almost the slums almost.
All right. Okay.
Where he's kind of, particularly because he is just so like the opposite of elves, because Shadowkai are generally described as being like the polar opposite of like Eladrin and like high elves, like where they are like very like even like Winter Eladrin, who are very darker and a bit gloomier, like they are still have a sort of melancholy about them, but Shadowkai are so different, and because they are so specifically like placed, just like he was just there, like.
Okay, well, I've got a couple of options here, but I think if we're going with like an elven city, we can maybe put you in what I've called like the elven capital. Like it's
That's
still,
what I was thinking. Yeah,
it's still kind of part of the like kind of same nation, but like the elves have got a little bit of their own kind of autonomy.
Yeah, they're like,
and
this
stuff.
is our place.
Yeah. So
Step off.
Yeah, the elven capital, which I've called. I wrote it down and I didn't figure out a pronunciation for it.
Siosa Emil.
Yeah, that, or I was going to Siorsamel.
Siosamel.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah. Which is kind of like the elven capital. It's right in the middle of like a giant forest, but like it's the city in the middle. So you've got like the elven thing of like, hey, we live with nature, but then there's also, because it's kind of a large city, there's a little bit of a population of non-elves there as well. So maybe that's the kind of, like you say, you're not living in like the high shining towers bit. You're kind of mixed in a little bit with the sort of the traders and
sort of running around picking people's pockets.
Yeah,
Oliver Twist style.
staying one jump ahead of the bread line.
Yeah.
One swing
there's going to be so
ahead of
many
a sword.
things.
I can bring out my Robin Williams impersonation.
I mean, I feel like that's necessary for people.
Well, now everybody has to have a Robin Williams impersonation.
I mean, we were not doing justice. He kind of worked.
Should we call you Al or just Din?
got some time to work on it.
We love you, Robin.
Yeah.
But yeah, with like regards to him, I didn't want him to have like any like adult figures, which is where I kind of like to think of him not being able to read very well.
How old is he? It's not like a child about to be abducted by the other two.
I mean, that would be an interesting way to start the story.
Look at it this way: we could do kind of a "I can show you the world" like Aladdin theme, when Sarah's just like, just starts taking everybody.
Here, jump into
on
my
a
sweet cart,
adventure.
small Shadowkai.
Just let me get to 14th level, and then I'll be able to fly as well.
Yeah.
Okay, there you go. Maybe the whole
We
thing.
might not do that straight away. We're starting at level 5, but yeah.
I think of him as being like, because obviously elves tend to have quite a longer lifespan there, but they mature still at the same sort of rate. I definitely think of him as being sort of like young adult, maybe sort of mid-20s equivalent.
Okay, so
if not,
so he's like 85.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sort of like that there, but based on his sort of upbringing, he kind of spent a lot of time with like a very mixed group of like sort of street kids.
He had a ragtag crew of,
kind of, yeah. But I like to think of that
street kids
stereotype.
who have now all died of old age. Okay, yeah, well, we'll say he's from. Okay, because I've been in mind. I've been. I've been in my head. I've been kind of planning like a the game to sort of take place in this sort of area here.
Yeah.
Which, if people go on our World Anvil page, will know I called the Golden Plateau, just sort of southwest of the country and that. And there's a lot of kind of smaller villages and things, but it's also got the giant. It's right next to the big woods where the Elven capital is and stuff. So, yeah. So that kind of works. You're pretty close.
Yeah.
It's not too far from the ocean for Erebus. It's still maybe 100 miles.
Yeah.
But we'll get to how you got there and stuff.
I'm hoping by the time we start. Well, I reckon he'll be recovered.
Yeah.
He'll just be relearning to fly.
Well, we could maybe even start the story in the city with Fane. We'll figure that out. We'll figure that out. It'll be fine.
Yeah. He'll think you're the kid. It'll be a whole thing.
I mean, the most of the time that he's so I can kind of go into this. he's essentially been traveling around with other sort of, again, not to get too specific, so that we can, like, you can do world building a bit more there, but
give me some wiggle room.
Yeah, he spent like a number of years kind of following around other followers of the Raven Queen.
Okay, so maybe he's not in the city still anymore, but he's
just kind of been wandering around there. Should you wish to start in there, but that
might make it easier actually, because rather than being like, okay, we've got an elf, we'll start in the elf city.
We're not going that stereotypical just yet.
Fine. Okay, well,
but yeah, he's kind of been traveling around with these people there, just kind of going from just kind of learning to be almost like a healer almost. Kind of going from like just small towns to like plague infested villages, just for years. Like some places might not even be there anymore, but he's just been going around just learning and
on a gap year.
Essentially, he's been finding himself.
Yeah, he's just really experiencing what the countryside has to offer.
Doing something with turquoise.
Exactly.
Volunteering.
And the point that like he's kind of found at is where he's like been on his own for a little while. He's just kind of almost kind of waking up, where he's just kind of like, it's like, holy shit, I've been doing all this, like why the hell am I here? What's the point of me?
Yeah.
Like he didn't even know he was a Shadowkai until like he was like mid-teens sort of time, where he kind of found
equivalent mid-teens or
I still think of him as still being more mortal, like even though he could be like in his like 40s there, he's still like mid-20s sort of thing. But because I think they mature kind of at the same sort of age.
Well, the way I'd kind of, because I had to look this up for Jason's character Enerve, because he was like, I want to be like 130, but also kind of like development wise, like kind of early 20s or whatever.
Yeah.
So that's how I've got it kind of in my head, is that like about 120, 130 is equivalent to maybe 25.
Oh yeah. So yeah, he'd be roughly around that there. Yeah.
Okay, it's a similar sort of thing. We don't need to set it in stone. It's just to give a bit of extra flavour.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's where Thane is from. He's from there. He's maybe just kind of been working his way around this sort of area here in the Golden Plateau. Okay, I've got a lot of room on the coast to put places for Erebus to have come, but also conveniently there's a bunch of mountains near there as well, so that would kind of...
That would make sense.
A lot of roosting places. But like you said, you lived on the hill looking down on the village.
Yeah.
So there's room there. I haven't got a lot of dots that are named on that coast, but we can put them in.
I'm good with that.
So maybe this is something I will do before we start, but we'll come up with the fun. We can come up with a fun village name now.
Hey viewers, you can add in what would you think his hometown or adopted hometown should be called?
Well, no, we can come up with it now. So it's like a little kind of fishing village. No, what kind of flavour do you like? What's the kind of deal? Is it like run down? Is it like just a sleepy little town?
It's more like kind of like a little cove.
Okay, yeah.
Like quite a small, like Clavelli kind of thing. Like if you think of Clavelli.
I don't think I haven't been there.
As a UK-based listener, like very fishing village. Not a lot really goes on there. They literally just go fishing. Because I said he kind of defends it a little bit. So. For example, I was thinking possibly, again, if it doesn't mess anything too much, that it's kind of close to somewhere that smugglers will go by. They try and smuggle into the village. It'd be like No Way in Hell. Get slightly, tiny bit involved. But yeah, so basically somewhere that would be on quite a good trade route, I'd imagine. I've
got, the coast, we're actually out of the Golden Plateau into an area that I call, what did I call it? The Kingdom of the Grand Hall, because it used to be the Dwarven Kingdom, and they just decided, similar to the elves, of like, we'll all just come together, but this, in their heads they're still kind of like, but we're dwarves, this is our own land, but we'll deal with these humans, small folk and stuff. Of course. But they're just cool with like there being like human villages and stuff on the surface and stuff. So I've got kind of like some major roads kind of plotted out on the map here on the, again, listeners on the western coast.
You've got quite a nice little cove, like a little bit further up.
Yeah, well, up.
Well, not cove, but coveish area.
Whereabouts were you thinking?
Just by the little island that was coming jutting out.
Yeah.
Because obviously, if smugglers were possibly using that to hide things.
I've got a well. There is already. I've got a dot there of a settlement called Whitmouth.
Okay.
Is that, how's that grab you?
I mean, I'm a giant white seagull. I mean, yeah.
That works. Yeah.
I'm happy.
I have absolutely no details about that settlement other than I put a dot on a map and came up with some names.
I'm very happy with that, to be honest.
Yeah.
I'm very good with that.
Yeah, and that's a couple 100 miles from the Elf City, but it's not too far really from where I've got in mind for the game happening.
As the seagull flies, it's a lot closer.
Yeah.
I was going to say.
Yeah. Okay, that's cool.
Where there's a child, there's a way. That's fine.
He's just like, I must leave you now.
Yeah,
there are children of other races that I must go.
Sure how happy I am with this rolling joke, actually, in retrospect.
I'll stop.
No, it's funny. I just...
we're getting them all out now.
Yeah, we'll get them all out now.
You can edit me out, it's fine. It'll be fine.
Yeah, it's fine. Okay. I just meant on like an ongoing basis. Are we going to have like however many episodes?
Just like little bit of
yeah. Look, I'm not saying that the old one isn't going to come out, but yeah.
There are better running jokes that we could make, essentially.
So many more.
Yeah. Okay, and finally with Celeste, I've got a few. I had the idea maybe that you were kind of from the actual area that we're sort of playing in.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I've got a lot of small village names there, so we could maybe pick one and be like, you live near there.
I was thinking either like swampland or desert.
Okay.
Because I feel like
I can definitely do like swampy sort of stuff.
Yeah, I think the
kind of flavour of the country that we're sort of in is sort of a bit like, I don't know, kind of middle of Europe sort of feel.
Okay. Or like old witch lives in the wetlands, but she's not a witch. She's not old.
Maybe like a floodplain or something.
I definitely there's some rivers going through there, so I've got a couple of places named that are on the river, so we could say you maybe live like 5-10 miles outside of town in the woods.
Yeah. And I am just a myth. I don't actually exist. Young children just get told scary stories at bedtime.
About the bird that tries to. It's my last one.
Hey, we're going to try.
Probably.
We're going to try not to.
Yeah. Well, I've got a couple named here. There's Alfred Mill. There's a little village I put on the river. And there's also Hanchet's Ford, which is like where the road crosses. But maybe is that too mainstream?
Yeah, that's too close to civilization.
Yeah. So maybe like Alfred Mill is kind of like along the river a little bit.
Yeah.
There's also some dots I haven't named yet as well, but like...
I was going to say like maybe kind of in that middle of the almost triangle.
Like the mountainy...
I mean, the place up by the Cliffkeep Mountains, that's almost like the source of the river.
Well, that's where the river comes down.
Poison people.
There's a dot there that I haven't named.
A little bit further like up and left, sort of up in that area.
In that area there?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Still quite near Alfred Mill.
Yeah. So if you absolutely force yourself to, you have to go. You can go into town and get some stuff, but you prefer not to.
Hobble.
Yeah.
Just look
you don't want to be noticed.
Suspiciously at people.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but you don't want to be noticed by the forces of the Lizard King.
No, they're watching me.
They're always watching.
Yes, they have eyes everywhere.
They monitor all bakers in the land.
Okay, well,
with
that's a good
hidden
place.
devices.
I mean, even the texture that I've gotten from the photo that I've used to make the map does look a little bit swampy there. So that's cool. We'll maybe just keep that in mind as like, that's vaguely where Celeste lives there. And you're kind of close to mountains, you're kind of close to river. You can make it to the road if you need to.
Yeah.
So there's plausibly a way for you to run into these two.
Yeah.
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 I like it. Yeah, it's cool.
I mean, I'm like been wandering around just like small villages the whole time, just healing people, like begrudgingly, kind of.
There's a way for me to put this together, which is the important thing.
Yeah, that's what matters.
Yeah.
And basically, I'm picturing me chasing smugglers. I mean,
This is one dude just
if I randomly get someone who's like, oh yeah, I met a conspiracy theorist who's pretty sure that the smugglers went this way, I'm gonna come looking for her, aren't I?
Also, the smugglers work for the government.
Yeah.
And they're
the smugglers are they're smuggling lizard people
Mind blown.
into other people.
They're putting fluorine in the water to indoctrinate.
They're poison.
They're putting charm spells in the water.
The whole thing.
The only thing that I would say. Oh god.
No, I'm the cleric.
She is not an anti-vaxxer. don't know if there are vaccines. I just want to put that out.
No, that's fine. Yeah, no, she's
Vaccinate your children, please.
We promise this is not going to have a children theme throughout.
I mean, that's like a support.
Look, we can't promise anything
I'm trying.
other
Downplaying it
than
now.
good times. I hope. Do we want to come up with a way that you guys know each other now, or should we just have that be maybe how we start the game? We'll figure that out.
I was going to say, I kind of want that to be like
That's kind of a fun intro, isn't it?
Yeah.
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 Okay.
See how badly this can go.
We'll leave
gonna
off
say-
then.
We'll try and think of a way where we might work together rather than the kind of standard like adventuring being like you have to because you're an adventuring party. That's why you do
Yeah.
it. We're playing D&D, therefore you must work together.
You start in a pub, which is fine as an intro, but after 10 times it's like, yeah, why don't we start?
How'd you get to level 3? Well, we're on a pub crawl. A couple quests in between.
The wizard took some pretty hard shots and died.
It's constitution's a minus. We got
Yeah.
Or are we trying to cure a hangover?
But no, this is fun because I can now come up with a way that like plausibly you guys can meet and that, and we can have a lot of fun with that. So going into it then, we'll say that you guys don't know each other yet,
Yeah.
which is I think a good way, rather than
Yeah.
kind of like trying to force a way ahead of time of like, so this is how these three characters know each other, which does work with some parties, but I think we've got quite an interesting mix of
It
characters
doesn't
here.
Yeah,
really work
like-
here.
Yeah. There's a lot of sort of
Know each other.
potentially clashing personality traits and stuff as well.
For sure.
Yeah, so yeah, I think it's going to be interesting just to see how it all comes together more than anything else.
I'm looking forward to getting convinced that my god is just a conspiracy. Like, in the graveyard
Almost
industry to sell
instantaneously
tombstones.
meeting You, like,
Death
I
isn't
will-
real, man.
Is it? Great, no consequences.
I still
This is the
haven't
afterlife
picked
now.
his wild shape. I mean, he could be a giant ass raven. He could be like, "Hi, I'm your god. Hi."
Fuck you.
It's kind of odd, like a bird, like an Aarakocra bird person takes as their wild shape a bird.
Yeah, a different bird. Yeah, he's proud. He's
I'm
like,
not comfortable
I like
with
being
this.
bird.
just hunched down.
Not fully out of your comfort zone.
A slightly smaller bird.
Yeah. Could fit into smaller doorways. Yeah.
Exactly, it's fine.
6'3", you know, it's definitely
He's got somewhat attached.
That's a big
to the raven to
wingspan,
his
man.
claws.
Like,
wild shape into a penguin.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Just waddle.
I mean, he's not quite a waddler.
Yeah, but if he was a penguin, he would waddle.
He's more like a stride. He's more like an ostrich or an emu.
Okay.
I mean, they're even taller.
just insane
Yeah.
ass legs.
But they got bendy neck, I suppose.
Like picture a dwarf variety, like a mini lop emu.
Oh, a mini emu. Like a teacup emu.
Oh, that's the fan art we want to see,
yeah.
guys.
Yeah. Yeah, if I want anything to come from this, it is just a drawing of a teacup emu.
With smuggle me.
Yeah.
Hashtag.
We'll be like 20 sessions in and we'll still be expecting
And then bam, out of nowhere, the big bad guy is
a teacup
teacup
emu.
emu. Yeah.
It will actually
We
be
can't fight him.
It'll be his long lost father.
Son! Papa!
The whole thing.
He gets hit by a truck.
The world's first truck invented kills the
No, that's
emu
been
god.
a running subplot throughout the whole thing. Is there's been a tinkerer you keep running into who's trying out a truck. Nobody knows what he's talking about. He's like, "No, trust me, guys, it can carry large amounts of goods across the country in a small way. We're going to need some new legislation, but trust me." And they're like, "It looks like a weird cart." It's not,
Where's the horse?
It's not that funny. I probably won't do that.
Massive foreshadowing.
We will not trust any tinker
They're
you
not
put
all, they're
before
not all
us.
winners.
Yeah.
It's fine. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm going to be suspicious of everyone anyway, but now even more so.
Yeah.
Because of the potential for trucks to come out of nowhere.
Yes.
I mean, bird in headlights could
Trucks
become
run the
a thing.
government.
Yeah.
It's a transformer.
You get
They're
stunned.
sentient.
This is my truck, Optimus. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
He was the optimal truck.
So yeah, I think we're in a pretty good place for today's episode. So yeah, I hope you guys are looking forward to this game as much as I am. It's going to be fun.
I will not stop smiling for the first hour of the session.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it should be fun. So yeah, we're going to be playing this D&D game very soon after we finish our Things from the Flood story. Soon.
Ominous.
No, I don't want to spoil it for people because this will be going up this week. What we're recording at the moment.
Hey.
So at the time of us recording this, we have not finished recording Things from the Flood. So who knows how it's going to continue? I do. I'm just eating. Yeah, no, it should be good. So yeah, thanks for joining me today, guys.
That's all right.
Cool, and people can look forward to hearing a lot more from you guys.
Yes, we want to see those teacup emus.
Teacup
please.
Emu. Hashtag Teacup Emu.
Let's get it trendy, guys.
There as well.
Yeah. Okay, that's about going to do it for this bonus episode. We'll be back as usual next week with another chapter of our Things from the Flood story. That's on Thursday the 19th of March, so we hope you come back for that. In the meantime, you can get in contact with us on Twitter and Facebook, both of which we are at Pretend with Dice. We also now have our Discord server, which you can find a link to pinned to the top of our Twitter page and in the Twitter bio. That's about the easiest way I could figure to have an ongoing link for that. So we hope you'll come and hang out with us on Discord, chat, lots of stuff. You can also email us at pretendingwithdice@outlook.com. If you're an iTunes or Apple Podcast user, it'd be really great if you could leave us a rating and review. It all helps us to find new listeners, and we'd just really love to hear what you all think of the podcast. So for now, that's our show. We'll see you next time.